Peter.
Jen, as it relates to COVID relief, you said the president wants to take care of people that need the help the most. Obviously, a lot of Americans right now say that they need help. So how do you determine who needs help and who doesn't? Where do you draw that line?
Well, again, Peter, I think what we're hoping to do through the package is provide assistance to Americans who are struggling to make ends meet at this moment in time. And you're right, there's a large swath of Americans who are struggling through this moment in time because they fear about their health, the health of their grandparents, of their cousins, of their parents, and also people who worry about their kids going back to school and their desire to get their kids back in school and continue learning. The package itself, again, is of course a priority of the president. It is not the end of our work or the end of his efforts to help bring relief to the American public. It is a first step, as he noted, I should say. He's also going to talk about his Build Back Better agenda in the coming months, and that's something that will certainly build on this as well.
Yesterday, the head of the CDC, as you know, said that it was safe to reopen schools without vaccinating teachers. You said that the White House was still waiting for the official guidance before making a final determination. Why isn't what the director of the CDC says, why isn't that enough?
Well, first, the director of the CDC also has said they haven't issued their final guidance, and we, of course, wait for that process to complete and see its way through. As she would say as well, I believe she did an interview last night where she spoke to this issue again. The president, let me be crystal clear, wants schools to open. He wants them to stay open, and he wants to do that safely. And he wants health and medical experts to be the guides for how we should do exactly that. So we're just not, Dr. Walensky spoke to this in her personal capacity. Obviously, she's the head of the CDC, but we're gonna wait for the final guidance to come out so we can use that as a guide for schools around the country.
And so if this final guidance comes out and it says that it is fine for schools to reopen without vaccinating teachers, can you say now that that is what President Biden will support?
Well, I'm happy. I hope you'll come back whenever the guidance comes out. The president has prioritized, believes that it should be a priority for teachers to be vaccinated. He also, though, believes that even with vaccinations for teachers or for any American, that there are a number of other mitigation steps that are important to take. Masks, and I'm sure this will be in the guidance when it comes out, they'll speak to it, I should say. The wearing of masks, social distancing, ventilation. These are all factors that are important for Americans and also for the reopening of schools. That's one of the reasons that we need funding in order to be able to effectively ensure that public schools across the country are able to do that.
We saw some new figures today. More than 2 million guns were sold in January. That was an 80% jump and the second highest monthly total on record. A lot of this, of course, had to do amid all the coverage related to the Capitol riots then. The president promised to act on day one on this issue. Of course, we know there's only so much he can do by executive action on it. Where does this fall on his list of legislative priorities? There's only so much capital that you have in these first 100 and first few days.
You're right, and he has an ambitious plan on a lot of areas and on a lot of issues. I will say, as vice president, and even before that, the president took on the NRA twice and won. This is an issue he is personally committed to. Many in this building are personally committed to, and I think he would love to see action on additional gun safety measures to protect families and children, and knows that there is support across the American public for that.
Of course, I guess that's up to him, though, for there to be action. So when would he take action and put some proposal before Congress?
Well, I think we have a couple of proposals currently before Congress, but again, this is an issue he is personally committed to. He has a personal, has worked on it many times in the past, but I don't have a date for you on when there would be a proposal.
If I can, I want to ask you, there's an NBC News video that went viral of a grocery store in Naples, Florida. You may or may not have seen this. If you haven't, I'll describe it to you. When you pan
Give us a play-by-play.
When you pan the grocery store, you see that almost everybody in there is not wearing a mask, even though it's in a county, I believe, where masks are mandated. The question is, beyond urging Americans to wear masks, what specifically is this White House doing to combat that resistance, especially given the concerns about the coronavirus mutations and others right now?
Well, one, we are trying to communicate about it as frequently as possible. Obviously, as you see, I wear a mask out here. I take it off when I come to the podium based on the recommendations and advice of our health and medical experts. You all are wearing masks right now, and the president has taken steps that are possible through his federal authorities, including mandating them on public lands, on airplanes. But part of what we're also trying to do is make our health and medical experts available to ensure people understand, and I'll reiterate it here today, it's not just a vaccine, is obviously an incredible medical breakthrough, and we want every American to have one. But even after you're vaccinated, social distancing, wearing masks are going to be essential, and we'll need to continue communicating about that through health and medical experts.
So what do you say to those folks? What do you say to the folks like those that we saw in this video? I believe one of the folks who owns or runs that store who said he doesn't believe that 450,000 Americans have died of coronavirus. At the end of the day, we need everybody on board to beat this virus. What do you tell them?
We try to fight the misinformation with facts, Peter, and fight it with health and medical experts, including at a national level, at a local level, to convey to people that wearing a mask is something that not only can save the lives of their neighbors, but of their family members. It's quite, and it's steps they're taking to protect themselves. I mean, we know statistically, or from our health experts, I should say, that if Americans wore masks for 100 days, 50,000 lives would be saved. We know it's not going to be overnight, but we're going to continue to communicate about it in a non-political way, in a factual way, so that Americans can take steps to save themselves.
Where does the White House proposal of sending a mask to every American stand, and how much would that cost if you followed through?
Well, there are a range of options on the table to help protect more Americans from the coronavirus and encourage people to mask up. And as I said, that's vital to us because it's not just about the vaccine. It's also about social distancing, ventilation, and certainly wearing masks. But no decision has been made to do that. So I don't have a cost assessment. Obviously, it would depend on how many people would be sent a mask.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, everyone.